Hi, this is Chris Haley, and I wanted to give a brief overview of California's tax agencies. California's tax system involves 5 separate departments: the Franchise Tax Board, FTB, the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, CDTFA, the Employment Development Department, EDD, the Office of Tax Appeals, OTA, and the State Board of Equalization, the SBE or the BOE. Now, although the EDD is the largest tax agency in California, the FTB is probably the most well known. The FTB's mission is to help taxpayers file their tax returns timely, accurately, and to pay the correct amount. The Franchise Tax Board consists of 3 members: the state controller, the director of the Department of Finance, and the chair of the State Board of Equalization. By statute, the FTB retains all the duties, powers, purposes, responsibilities, and jurisdiction of what we used to call the Franchise Tax Commissioner. And the FTB, the 3-member board, appoints an executive officer who is then confirmed by a 2/3 vote of the Senate. And the FTB administers the personal income tax as well as the bank and corporation taxes. CDTFA was established in 2017 as part of a state budget accord that took over most of the duties, powers, and responsibilities that had previously been held by the SBE. The Budget Act requires CDTFA's headquarters to be in Sacramento, and the governor appoints the director, the chief deputy director, and the chief counsel of CDTFA. And the department is responsible for administering the state sales and use tax law, the fuel and tobacco taxes, as well as a variety of other taxes and fees that fund different state programs. The stated mission of CDTFA is to make life better for Californians by fairly and efficiently collecting the revenue that supports essential public services of the state. The EDD is one of the largest state departments here in California, with employees at hundreds of service locations throughout the state. And for more than 70 years, the EDD has connected millions of job seekers and employers in an effort to build California's economy. According to the Uninsurance Employment Code, the UI code, the EDD is vested with the duties, purposes, responsibilities, and jurisdiction of the prior Department of Benefit Payments. The EDD is administered by an executive officer and is vested with the responsibilities to investigate, examine, and make reports for parties that are responsible for the administration and funding of services that are administered by EDD. And EDD collects payroll taxes in the state of California, which actually makes the EDD the largest tax collecting agency in the state. The State Board of Equalization, also known as the SBE or the BOE, is the only tax agency that is found in our state constitution. And the SBE is governed by a 5-member board, the state controller, as well as the 4 members who are elected to 4-year terms at the same time as the governor. And they are capped or term limited to 2 terms. And they oversee property tax assessment in the state, as well as insurance tax and the alcohol beverages tax. The OTA was created by the Taxpayer Transparency and Fairness Act of 2017, and the stated mission of the Office of Tax Appeals is to provide a fair, objective, and timely process For appeals set forth by California taxpayers, the OTA is under the control of a director who's appointed by the governor, who also gets to appoint a chief deputy director and a chief counsel of OTA. The director and the other officers are subject to Senate confirmation. The director oversees the day-to-day operations of OTA, such as staffing, hearing offices, as well as appeal hearings for taxpayers to file appeals to have their appeals resolved in a timely and efficient manner. Each OTA office in the state establishes a tax appeals board, and these appeals boards or panels consist of 3 ALJs, administrative law judges, and those ALJs of the OTA are designated by the OTA director. These ALJs have to be active members of the state bar with at least 5 years of prior experience with a knowledge regarding the administration and operation of federal and state tax and fee laws. Those ALJs are required to adhere to the Code of Judicial Ethics that has been adopted by our California Supreme Court, and the OTA has authority to handle the appeals that had been handled previously by the State Board of Equalization. Those now reside with the Office of Tax Appeals, including franchise and income tax appeals from the Franchise Tax Board, as well as sales tax and other ones administered by CDTFA.